All right, welcome back to another episode of UFC CHITCHAT. This is where I just go off on whatever's been happening in the fight world lately. Could be recent fights, some fighter drama, social media nonsense, or just some weird stuff that popped up during the week. There's no structure here, no script, just me talking fights and everything that's around them. Now, quickly at the start here, I just want to say that despite my following numbers, which are quite low, I'm feeling a little bit famous because I've had some replies on Twitter that blew up. Now, first one I'm going to go over, which was not the largest liked comment or viewed comment, was me bullying Moicano. Now here, he's talking about how Bellator MFers are so bad that Batista is looking like a pro boxer here. See, right under here, I told him, true, you suck so bad that a win over you barely counts. Islam probably forgot it even happened. Now, I felt pretty hyped up seeing that it got 15K views, 92 likes. One of those saves is mine, but yeah, that was a pretty good feeling, I'll admit. Although if you scroll down and want to look at it yourself, I was kind of getting roasted. But I had some comebacks if you want to read them carefully. It was some fun exchanges. And down here, now this didn't pop off as much as I wanted it to, but it was still fun for me to make. Now, we all remember what happened with Minty Betts live on air fumble. And then the week after, we had Laura Sanko reading her teleprompter perfectly fine. So my immediate comment was right here. Oh, now the teleprompter wants to act right. Funny how that works. And I took like 30 minutes to an hour out of my day to make this beautiful little GIF for you guys. So if you'd like to screen record and use it, or if there's a way for you to download and use it, go on and do that. And after that, we had something about the MMA guru. He was talking about that fan who asked the question about John Jones. I think he's the one who brought up the petition. And he brought it up to John Anik. Right here, I'm talking about how he probably got blacklisted just for asking something we actually care about. 7.6K views, 372 likes. And over here, this was the most liked and viewed comment I had. And it was, the lead up to the fight between Julia Pena and Kayla Harrison. She was telling her story about how she got in a fight with a man, with a line cook. This was while she had already been training as a professional. And she goes on and talks about how, she realized that as a woman, even though she's a professional fighter, that she wants nothing to do with fighting men. So that's a pretty base take. And all I did was, literally quote what the podcaster said. I wasn't even expecting this to pop off like that. 14 retweets, 1.4K likes, 19 saves. Yeah, I mean, I cannot help but to feel a little bit famous. I wish all 1.4K people had clicked follow. I mean, what the F? So I'm pretty gassed up. And aside from that, I want to get into some other stuff. Now, I just saw this like an hour ago, and it's Demetrius Johnson grappling with KSI. Some pretty hilarious stuff. At the beginning of the video, you can tell that KSI genuinely thought he could hold Demetrius down from full mount. You know, being given that position right off the bat. But
seconds for 17? Yeah, that's a little quick.
I was genuinely impressed with how easily Demetrius, you know, like bucked him off him. I was expecting some sort of struggle. But go ahead and watch that.
You want full mount? Okay,
Yeah.
full mount, full
Okay.
mount. And yeah, I'll try that. I've done that before. Let's
He's never done that before. I don't believe that. I mean, if you're drilling jiu-jitsu, then you always have someone in full mount. Sometimes you'll just start off in full mount. So that's cap.
see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a minute to survive. Okay.
Go.
Okay. Wait, hold up.
Wow. I know he's a professional, a GOAT, but I was not expecting that to be so simple for him. And then the rest of the video, you know, just shows him submitting KSI at some points. The only disappointing part... Okay, I gotta GIF that. I'm gonna make a GIF about that. Yeah, the only disappointing part was that he didn't like full on just choke him out at least once. That would have been gold. And then here we have Rodolfo Bellato speaking out about the controversy in his fight. Not the initial matchup from the week before where he had to cancel because he had a herpes outbreak, but this most recent Saturday, at the end of the first round, you see it here. If you know, you know. If you're watching it live, I'm sure you heard about what went on. He took a supposed upkick, which he references here in the actual post, that he did not expect to get kicked in the face. But there's someone else out there who posted a slow-mo close-up of the actual upkick, which looked to land on his shoulder, collarbone, neck area. Didn't even land flush on his chin, or even really on his chin at all. If it did hit his chin, it looked like it, or it might have just been like a ricochet after it landed on his body first. So, but he's sticking to his story. And then I commented here, you know, which I just didn't like his comment, how he brought God into this. I put how he doubles down invoking God like he's co-signing this mass. It's not faith, that's blasphemy. And I'm just, you know, speaking facts, because technically it is blasphemy. And I don't like when people do that. Especially when they're wrong. That is highly suspicious. Come on. That's not real. He was faking it. But, I mean, what is he supposed to do? Just come out and apologize for faking it? And, yeah, it might be a hard thing to do, but I think he would get... Well, I don't know. He might get the respect of people for doing that. But also, who knows if maybe they're going to cut him for doing something like that. Yeah, you see down here, this Super MMA. God is in charge. Proceeds to boldly just lie. Exactly. Right. Oh, right here. Exactly. That's why I like that comment. Ooh, 666. And then next we had... I just saw this. I thought this was really weird. I don't know if this is someone just trolling. but supposedly Peyton Talbot has some sort of butt vape video. Now, I don't know if the entire post is fake or if just the butt vape video part is true and the part with the UFC being done with Peyton Talbot isn't true. But I actually would like some more clarification on this, but I really don't want to Google Peyton Talbot butt vape video. And if it is true, that's kind of comical, disturbing, especially just the comments that this guy makes, which everyone's free to think and do what they want, at least in the US. But, you know, he's made comments about how certain people, including like Andrew Tate, is a bad influence on the male population, giving them wrong ideas of what it takes to be a man. And although he might have some particular points that could be true in that regard, which I haven't heard any specific reasoning for that, but when you're out here wearing crop tops and dancing on stripper poles, which I believe he's done, and I think there's some other things I probably blocked out of my mind that I initially saw. But if you're also doing, like, if you're vaping out your butt, dude, like, so that's what we should do with our spare time? Instead of trying to get rich like Andrew Tate promotes? Alright, maybe... Nah, I'm not going to try that. And then next we had, just quickly, we had Dylan Dennis. He bet on Kamaru Usman, apparently. 8K to make 24K. So tripled his money. That was a good read. I just thought out with the old, in with the new. Like, and with the bad knees. And your name's literally Buck. And you're younger. You're the young, supposed to be the young Buck. Craziness. So disappointed. Yeah, and then I don't know why I saved that. Then here. Oh yeah, this was absurd. This guy, he was winning the fight. Mansour Abdul Malik was winning the fight. But I believe he headbutted Cody Brunson. Like towards the end of the third. And then here he wants, he's claiming
this is the game.
Finish.
I came out with my hand raised. I showed something that I haven't shown before in that third round. Don't talk to me about cardio. Don't talk to me about wrestling. Don't talk to me about striking. Don't talk to me about grittiness or being young or inexperienced. I showed something that I wasn't able to show before.
Okay, I don't want to watch that whole thing.
It looked like a finish. It felt like a finish. It wasn't an intentional headbutt. I didn't even know our heads clashed. Very, very, very confusing ending. I need to watch the fight.
Yeah. So I commented on this. Let's see where my comment is real quick so I can just quote myself. No, maybe it was a different post, but what I was basically saying is that that's not fair, even if you're winning the fight, because a fight is 3 rounds or 5 rounds for a reason. It's because even if one fighter's winning at a certain point, you never know if the losing opponent is gonna make a comeback. Just like we saw in the Anderson Silva fight versus Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen was beating him up the whole time, badly, and then Anderson comes through with a triangle choke at the end of the fight, at the very last moments, of 5 rounds, I believe it was. So it's not fair for fighters to win this way. And I also said something like, if this is going to be a thing, I kind of want people to just take advantage of it just to prove my point. And also perhaps there'll be some people who also just do it because they realize it's an advantage they can abuse. But Just if you have a 3-round fight or 5-round fight, and why don't you just go balls to the wall in the first, right? Use up your gas tank if you used to be worried about your gas tank, and just land some vicious blows on your opponent in the first round. Just leave everything out there, and if you're sure you won the first round, come out the second round and just purposely poke the dude in the eye and pretend it's an accident, or headbutt the dude, pretend it's an accident, kick him in the nuts and pretend it's an accident, right? Commit an illegal shot, pretend you didn't mean it, and then they're just gonna stop the fight and say, "Oh, well, we're just gonna score it for the first round, up to this point where the foul happened," right? And just like they did Henry Cejudo dirty, and even though perhaps you can argue that he was losing the fight against Song Yadong, like, he still had more fight to go. Like, he could have won. He could have gone on to win the fight, change up his strategy, and get the win. So they tried to do something about the gloves, but then they got rid of the gloves because John Jones didn't like the gloves, and it was supposed to help reduce the amount of eye pokes. But what's wrong is wrong. And if someone commits something illegal, they should penalize that person. Yeah, I'm sorry. That really irks me. Kind of went on a rant about that, but I think it's a well-deserved rant. And so Ricky Simone, this was kind of funny. So I guess Cameron Smotherman was talking shit to Ricky Simone, and so once Ricky Simone had him against the cage, told him he was under arrest, so he talked some ish back, and then Cameron didn't like it when it was done back to him and instantly pulled the race card. So
and so on it.
It's not that hard when you grow up fighting. I have two.
So I mean, you can't claim you can claim whatever you want, but he was saying that not because you're black necessarily. I mean, you gotta ask him, I guess. But if when a cop arrests people, sometimes they push you up against a cop car or up against the building, right? Just as Ricky Simone was pressing you up against the cage. So that comment is totally valid for him to say you're under arrest. So obviously Cameron Smotherman had his own perspective on it.
At one point, I had him pressed up against the wall, and I told him he's under arrest. He told me I'm racist, and I was like, I wasn't going that direction, but I just got you in a bitch-ass position.
Right.
I guess, like,
oh my goodness. That's funny. And then here, this comment, now this was just a little bit of truth. Yeah, I was trying to clout chase a little, but MMA Guru was talking about how he dropped the lawsuit, or how the UFC, he hates that the UFC dropped the lawsuit. I'm sorry. Michael Chiesa dropped the lawsuit against McGregor after the bus incident. And because of that, now they're in debt to him, giving him easy matchups back to back. And he has a permanent spot on the analyst desk. Yeah, I've talked about this before. And I actually brought that up in my prediction video for this card. It's there at the 10:35 mark as proof. I literally brought that same exact reasoning up for why I was even picking Michael Chiesa. And in the past, I don't know if I mentioned in particular the part about the desk analyst part in this YouTube video, but I know I have some post somewhere I can bring up. I was talking about how Chiesa and another person, well-known person, you could probably think of him right now, that's on the analyst desk, because the UFC is kind of indebted to him for another reason, right? So, if you know, you know. If you want to know, ask me. I'll probably just make a video about it. And then, yeah, we went, oh, this is what I was referencing earlier. That's just the proof from MMA Joey. The slow-mo proof. The up kick. It's his neck. Let's slow it down. Passes the chin. There's no movement of his chin. It's on the side of the chin. No movement. No movement of the chin. No movement. Connects there on the collarbone. Into the neck. From this point, he's already protesting. Direct eye contact. The rep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's going to be it for this MMA chit chat. You stayed through to the end. I appreciate it. If you like my video, like it. Like it, share it, follow. I would appreciate it. And if you did stick around to the end, let me know. Drop it in the comments. And I'll see you guys later for my prediction video for the next card. Later.